is one of the most elusive creatures that you can possibly come across in the United States, and the largest salamander species that we have here in North America. Look at that. That is a hellbender. Oh, very, very slippery, very difficult to hold on to. You notice how flattened the shape of this amphibian's body is. That's what allows them to easily slide underneath the crevices in between rocks and then work their bodies against the current as they're walking on the basin of a river looking for food. Look at the head, completely flat. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Some people call it the Allegheny alligator. Some people call it the mud dog, the mud devil. My personal favorite, though, is snot otter. And it feels as if it is covered in snot. And you can see this brownish colored body, very long and slender, makes it look like an otter.
Wow.
But in fact, we do know this is an amphibian and not a mammal.
It does feel snotty.
Right? That's why you can see it's so hard for me to hold on to it. One thing that I can feel that you guys can't quite see is that on the tips of their toes, they have these little grippy pads. Tim, see if you can kind of fold up a foot there and show that to the camera. See the little kind of orange fingertips there?
And are those slimy or are those grippy?
Those are very grippy. That helps these amphibians grab onto the slimy rocks on the basin of the river. Look at that coloration though, right? Let me kind of tilt it down. Can you see that? Brown with slightly orange patterning allows it to stay perfectly camouflaged on the basin of the river. Now, can you see the eyes up front there? Kind of zoom in on those eyes. See how tiny they are? They have very poor eyesight. They can sense light, but they actually have all these little light receptors all over their bodies, and they can also sense vibrations in the water. They use that ability to sense vibrations to help them hunt for their food. And then look at the tail. The tail is like a rudder. Can you see that? And that's how they're capable of making quick bursts of movement underwater if they need to. Like when it first came out from underneath the rock, it shot out, and Tim magically somehow managed to scoop it up in the net. Now, they're primarily nocturnal. That's when they come out and do their hunting. And 90% of this amphibian's diet is made up of crayfish. They will eat small fish. They will take other little invertebrates. And believe it or not, a large one like this will even eat other hellbenders. They're very, very territorial. And oftentimes, a smaller hellbender may lose its life to a larger one like this if it wanders in to the wrong neighborhood. I am just in such awe of this creature right now. It is unbelievably incredible. Like, I never thought I would ever see a salamander this big. Now, it is the largest species of salamander in North America and the third largest species of salamander in the world, third only to the giant Chinese and Japanese salamander. And look at that little face. How adorable is this creature? It's kind of staying pretty calm at the moment. I'm gonna dip it back down into the water. I need to make sure that this amphibian stays hydrated at all times. Here, Mark, come over top and let me show you these lateral skin flaps. This is one of the most interesting things about these amphibians. Can you see this?
Sure can. See
those flaps? These flaps actually help them oxygenate, and they absorb all their oxygen through the water. Well, hello. Hi there. What's your name? Should we name you? Herbie? Herbie the Hellbender?
I think that's a yes.
Oh, yeah, he gave me a little squeak and blew some bubbles. Well, it's interesting because they breathe through their skin, and scientists actually aren't sure if they use their lungs to breathe or just for buoyancy underwater. And right there, I would definitely say that it kind of looked like it came up for air. At least it exerted some air from its lungs, probably so that it could get down to the bottom of this tub of water. Now, one thing that I do want to do very quickly here is actually get the length of this hellbender. We're gonna do a little biometric research here. Try to get completely stretched out here. Tip of the snout to tip of the tail.
I think with the bend, it's 20.
That looks like a 20-inch hellbender right there. Wow, 20 inches in length.
So, Coyote, how old is this amphibian?
Well, nobody really knows for sure how long they can live, but some scientists think they can live as long as 70 years.
Wow.
I would guess that this one, based on its size, is probably somewhere between 25 and 30 years of age.
So about as old as we are.
Yeah, pretty much. This is an old creature, and they're very susceptible to pollution. This is what we call an indicator species, and the fact that we found one here in this river is a really good sign that the water system is in fact healthy. Now, their larvae are the ones that are most susceptible to pollution, but because they absorb so much of the environment through their skin, like all amphibians, if it's a polluted area, there's not a good chance that they're going to survive. Well, it was one very long and very frigid day searching the rivers of West Virginia, but we finally came across the elusive hellbender. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave.